to the sky. No more chains, no more masks. Time to make a change. No more holding myself back. The change begins in me. I'm answering the purpose call. Positive to push. Embracing life. I'm valuable in life. Today's a new day. A fresh taste of new grace. Gratitude, don't sky high. No more late. Today's a new day. The old pass away. Gratitude, don't sky high. No more chains, no more that. No more holding myself back.
Hello, beautiful people. It is I, your favorite life balance and accountability coach, and your host of What's in Your Cup Conversation, Consuela, Nicole. You guys are in for an amazing treat today. I know we are definitely doing something a little different. And as you know, I always talk about pivoting in life, right? There comes a time where we need to pivot and adjust what we're doing for obvious reasons, or maybe not so obvious reasons for some people. So make sure when you come in, let us know that you are here. I know there's a delay between StreamYard of what we're currently using, right, and what you see, but we're gonna play catch up. As you can see, my background is a little different today. And like I said, that's because in life we have to pivot. I'll tell you all about my location here in just a minute, but I am excited about my current guest today. And I really don't want to take up a whole lot of time because she technically, y'all, is supposed to be resting, but she is one of those powerhouse women that she always got to give. She always got to give. But at the same time, she is one of those women that we're going to give back to her today, right? But before I do that, and bear with me, y'all, because y'all can see that we are not in our standard location. We are not in our normal location. So we pivoted and playing with some things, y'all. So today, I am talking about a young lady that many may know as Miss Ricketts. Some may know as Jennifer. A whole bunch of us know as California Love, right? Let me explain to you. She is a devoted mother. She is a new author, y'all. So we are going to talk about that. She is passionate. She's a passionate advocate for the well-being of others. She is an ambassador for the National Blood Clot Alliance, the NBCA. And I know a lot of people are like, was that a thing? Baby, blood clots is a thing. And we're going to talk about that with her today. She channels her experience into raising awareness about thrombosis, particularly in communities of minorities. Ms. Ricketts' book, Defending the Silent Threat, A Guide to Understanding Thrombosis and Blood Clots in People of Color, it serves as a crucial resource for those seeking to understand this silent yet deadly condition. One of Ms. Ricketts' life's mottos is take the L so you can live life. This embodies her belief that living authentically and embracing challenges is the true path to victory. She values people over titles. We're going to talk about that one, y'all, because that's a good one. She values people over titles and is dedicated to treating everyone with dignity and respect they deserve. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please help me welcome to the stage my friend, soon to be y'all friend, my sorrow, Miss Jennifer Ricketts. Hey, how you doing, beautiful?
I am good. How are you?
You know what? We pushing today. We pushing. But you talking about you good. Ma'am. This isn't your usual.
I know. But, and you know, something, at first I was going to cancel, but I was like, no, I'm not canceling on my sister. We going to make this happen by any means necessary. So we going to go ahead and just let it all out.
Right. And see, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about, today is a day of completely pivoting, right? So you and I both are in a completely different situation than what we normally would be, right? We are in a different atmosphere.
Yes.
And we not gonna have sweaty eyeballs this early. We just not gonna do it, right? We're not gonna have them this early. But I want to talk about you for a minute because this is all about you. You made. Let me back up. I know I just talked about Jennifer Ricketts. When you look in the mirror, when you introduce yourself, how do you introduce yourself to people? Who is Jennifer Ricketts?
Now, see, that's what I want to correct you on right quick, because one thing that you forgot, the most important part when you was introducing me. So let me go ahead and correct my sister right quick.
Yeah, please do.
Like, one thing about me, titles and accolades don't mean nothing to me, baby. I'm the daughter of a king.
Come on now. Yes, first and foremost. How can I forget that? Yes. Okay.
I am a child of God. Everything else after that, that's all because of him. So none of that means anything to me except being the daughter of a king.
Okay. So you know what? And that actually says a lot, right? Especially for, I'm gonna just say it, for you.
Mm-hmm.
That says a lot for you. So
yeah.
Before I get into why that's a lot for you, well, no, that's part of this. As people can see right now, you bandaged up on your kneecap.
I
Bandaged up on your kneecap. So you just recently had knee surgery.
Yes, I did. Mm-hmm.
But this wasn't the first rodeo.
It wasn't. And listen to when I tell you, when people ask me, how are you doing? How do you feel? All I can tell them is I'm blessed, because the first time around, I didn't even leave the hospital. When I went in Saturday for knee surgery, I was back home by 11:59 p.m.
Amen. Amen. So we're gonna talk about your cup right quick, right? Because looking at your face, your cup looked full, right?
Yes.
Your cup looked like you are blessed to the high heavens, right? However, what was it, 6 months ago? Your cup was empty and cracked, and you didn't know what was what. And I say that because this is what your cup looked like.
Baby, the cup was depleted. The cup was depleted. Yes.
This was your cup 6 months ago.
Yes. Wow.
Can you take us back to what was going through your head at this time? What was going on where your cup just was like, screw this cup, I'm finished?
Girl, you know what, Consuela, we weren't even supposed to get, looking at these pictures, God, it's like, do I even want to go back to that? Oh my gosh. God. Let me just say this. At that time in my life, there's a reason why people say when you ask for something in a way that they'll know it was done by God. Mm-hmm. Only God could have done it,
right?
Because there is, when I think about that time in my life, that's not luck. There is no way I could have ever be to where I am today just off the grace of luck alone. That was clearly what you call the acts of God, because I was on my deathbed. I was on my deathbed, and we talk about some dark times, and God has a way of reaching you in your darkest moments. And that's when he reached me. and pulled me through.
So for you to say now that you're a daughter of a king during this season that we're looking at, you wasn't using that title at that time.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not, girl. I knew of God. I knew Jesus Christ was the Son of God. I knew that, but I didn't know him. I didn't have a relationship with him. I matter of fact, when things would happen and I make it through, it's because I'm lucky. You know, I done rolled the dice, the lucky 7. That's what I chalked it up to. But oh no, in that moment, yeah, I didn't have a relationship. I didn't have a friend. I didn't have a partner. I didn't have no part of God other than me knowing that he's around. He's above. Yeah.
But because of that situation, and I'm not gonna share the picture. You sent me a picture that coming out of that situation, going through the situation of your first knee surgery,
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned that you didn't come home. You was in the hospital for 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
which means you was away from your baby. I call her a baby, right? Your baby, your twin, your pride and joy. You was away from her for 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
trying to
Yeah.
figure out what your new life or your next life was even going to look like. But in the midst of that, you found your relationship with God.
Let me tell you, in the midst of all that, I had reached the lowest point of my life. And people always say, oh, I hit rock bottom when they lose their job or they lose their car. I've never admitted this out loud before, but I hit rock bottom when I tried to take my own life. In the hospital, let me remind you, girl, that was when I knew I had hit rock bottom. And when I didn't succeed in that, that was when I knew I had a reason to live. So, yeah.
You ain't supposed to do that. You wasn't supposed. You don't hit me with surprises. I hit you with surprises. That you see, we're gonna have to talk about that.
We're going to blame it on the medication later. But yeah. If we don't have a conversation, let's have a conversation.
Let's have a conversation.
Yes.
Well, I am grateful that I am still able to talk about this with you right now. But you found your relationship with God. You survived that. See, you got people across the globe eyeballs sweating, like for real. Somebody had prayers for you. You know,
Yeah.
there was this old saying that, I had a praying grandmother.
Mhm.
I don't know if you had a praying grandmother, if you had a praying friend, if you had a praying circle, but somebody besides you was praying for you.
Yes.
And fell on their face on your behalf. Because baby, you went from hold up. You went from this to this.
Yes.
And for those that don't know, this is your baby.
Yes.
Your baby pushing you in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yes.
are literally strapped into a wheelchair with a walking band.
Girl, strapped in, not with a walking band, with an ankle monitor, with an alarm system. Girl, they made sure once I was in that wheelchair, I could not get out unless somebody took me out.
You were strapped in, and 6 months later, baby, you walking around like nobody's business.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like? What was that like to be able to get up out that chair and walk without the assistance of your baby, machines, anything? What was that? What was that like?
There was, when I first started, one of the nurses was like, "We have to record this," and I said, "Huh?" She said, "We have to record this." She said, "You have to record a moment that you can look back on and say, there's a God."
Amen.
And even this is still in my moment when I didn't really know God, you know. I'm going through the process. And hearing her say that, I said, you know, because people, let's be honest, people in, you know, corporations and jobs today, they don't like to say what they call the G word, but I'm gonna say it, God.
Amen. Yes.
No. Everybody don't like to say it. Everybody don't like to bring that up. But when she said it, I said, okay, you know, this must be the real deal. Okay. And she took my phone and she, you know, started recording me taking my first steps. And
I saw that.
Watched that video later on that night. I just looked at it, and when I tell you that was like the best outer body experience, to know that I'm learning how to walk, first of all over again.
Amen.
It felt like I finally felt like, okay, so this is what mothers go through when they see their babies walk.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I felt that within me. And in that moment was when I felt, I can honestly say, that presence of somebody being there. You know, it was like somebody else was in the room with me as I watched that video. And it was, gosh, thinking about it was just, it gets me so emotional. It was, like I said, the best experience I could have ever experienced. You know,
coming out of that season, I can't even say coming out, working through that season, because as we can see, you are still in that season. You just went in for a second surgery 3 days ago. You should be laid up in your bed, elevated, drugged out, whatever, but you on here sharing your testimony and your story of what you are currently, because you're not finished yet, because you still rap, you are currently going through, right? What, and it could have been a lot of different reasons, but what was the number one reason that had you in the hospital for 6 months?
So it started with a car accident. I was hit by a drunk driver at work. This was in 2022. This was right after my birthday. So we didn't celebrated life. We had a big celebration, did it up. Now I got to go to work. Left out at about 11 o'clock that night, was hit by 2 a.m. And I was hit by a drunk driver in my truck. I drive 18-wheelers. And she spun.
Wait. You a woman driver, a woman truck driver?
A woman truck driver.
You in them big rigs that we be holding down the highway?
22.
A whole nother conversation. Okay, keep going. Come on, truck drivers.
Yeah, so she ran into the truck. I was headed on the 15 northbound, spun me, went over the divider, and ended up on the southbound facing ongoing traffic.
No, ma'am.
So that's what started all this entire process.
Okay.
I knew then something wasn't right, something was wrong. But when you dealing with the government people and workers' comp and all that, you got to wait on them.
Right.
So This accident happened in July. I finally got an MRI in January, and they told me my knee was damaged. But we already knew that. We knew that in July.
Right.
We had to wait until January to get the MRI. So February 2023 is when I had the first surgery.
Mm-hmm.
The first knee surgery. It's supposed to be outpatient surgery. You go in, get the surgery, you're supposed to go home. Well, I didn't get feeling back in my lower body. So they couldn't send me home because I couldn't walk, couldn't get up, had no feeling. Couldn't even tell if I was urinating on myself or not.
Jesus.
By the time I got feeling back in my body, I was already admitted into the hospital. And that led into me being in that hospital for 4 days. I kept asking the nurse, like, something's wrong. I kept telling her something's wrong with my leg. Like, it doesn't feel right. And she just kept saying, oh, that's from the surgery. That's from the surgery. Well, I had surgery in my left leg. My right leg is starting to act up. So I'm telling her, like, no, something's wrong with my leg. Like, it does not feel right. And she's like, oh, that's complications from the surgery. So I'm like, you know, I don't have MD behind my name, so I can't argue with these people. I let them say what they say. Long story short, I get released to go home. The ambulance comes, transportation takes me home because I live on the 3rd floor, so I had to have a steel stair chair to get upstairs. They brought me into my home. I told my daughter, I just want to wash up. I've been in the hospital now for 4 days. I just want to wash up, get in the bed, and lay down. That's all I kept saying. I just want to wash up, get in the bed, and lay down. I could barely move. And I made it to my bathroom. I said, I just want to wash up, get in the bed, and lay down. I yelled for my daughter to bring me a chair so I could sit in the chair and wash off my body so I can go get in the bed and lay down.
Okay.
God knew if I went and got in that bed and laid down, I was never going to get back up. When I sat in that chair to get ready to wash my body, my entire body went numb. And it just so happened my phone rang, and it was right by my pointer finger. I was able to hit talk, and it was my sister in Georgia. And she said, what's wrong? I know something's wrong. She said, what's wrong? I told her, I said, I can't move. And she said, what do you mean you can't move? I said, I can't move. My whole body is numb right now. She said, call KK, which is my daughter, and tell her to call 911. I hadn't been home for a whole hour. And now we got to call 911 to go back to the hospital.
Where you just came from.
I didn't go back to that hospital. I went to another.
Okay.
They had already did me wrong. And I told when the fire department came, I told the chief, I don't want to go back to that hospital. I'm not going to say the hospital name, legal reason. But I said, I don't want to go back to that hospital. Take me to this hospital. And he said, okay. And when he came through the door, I told him, I said, look, I don't have no clothes on. So you just going to have to do what you have to do. I give you permission to do what you got to do. Get me, save me, do something, because I can't move. Because when I tell you, they tried 6 times to get an EKG of my heart. They tried to get a pulse. They tried to get my blood pressure. They couldn't get none of that until he said, we're going to have to take you in. And I said, okay. Still couldn't move. Still numb. Because I believe in my spirit, if he had did an EKG and got my pulse and told me everything's good, I'd have been like, okay, I'm fine. I'm going to go lay down. And I think God knew that too.
Yeah.
So that when they couldn't get none of that, they said, we got to take her in because something's not right. They brought in 2 machines. Both machines could not get the EKG, my blood pressure, pulse, none of that. They had to take me back downstairs, load me up in the ambulance. It was on the way to the hospital when they finally was able to get my pulse.
En route.
And by this time, it felt like somebody was tying a tourniquet around my legs. Like my legs was getting tighter and tighter. And I'm just screaming. I'm telling the lady, I hate to be like this. I don't want to scream. I hate to be like this annoying patient, but it hurts. Like something is tightening around my legs. And I see there's nothing there. You see there's nothing there, but it feels like a rubber band is getting tied around my legs.
Mm-hmm.
We get to the hospital, they tell them what's going on. And even the paramedic lady, said, you have to get her checked out because this is a rare case. I heard her tell them that. She said this is a rare case. They end up running tests. I'm still in pain, still can't move. They come back and tell me I have DVTs, which is blood clots in my legs. The blood clots started when I was in the first hospital, and I kept telling them then something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They kept telling me it's complications from the surgery. So once they told me it was the blood clots in my legs, they put me on a heparin drip and tried to get control of it. But by then it had got so bad, I had to be transferred to a higher level of care because I needed a thrombectomy.
You needed a who?
A thrombectomy.
What is that?
That's where thrombosis comes into play. So thrombosis is another name basically for blood clots.
Okay.
So the DVTs that I had in my legs had got so bad, they had to do a thrombectomy, which they went in behind my kneecaps into the veins and had to put in shunts to open up the vein.
Okay.
So the blood can flow. Because the clots had blocked them off completely so bad. So that was when I waiting for a transfer to Cedars-Sinai to get this.
Okay.
Yes. So when you say there was, people praying for me, I know for a fact I had an entire circle of prayer warriors that were praying for me, and I'm so thankful for them.
We're gonna talk about some of them prayer warriors here in just a moment, right? But before we get to that, out of this season that you are currently in and what you're going through, you birthed not one, but 2 books.
Yes.
One for the children and one for us grown folks. And yes, I put them side by side because they need to be seen side by side. First, let's talk about this one is my right. Defeating the silent threat. That's I read it. I did. And it is definitely a very good guidebook, especially for those that don't know and don't understand. But you became an advocate for yourself, right? What can you tell people in regards to being an advocate for themselves when it comes to the silent threat, of blood clot? Now, keep in mind, y'all, she already said she don't have an MD behind her name. She talking from personal experience. So what can you, what's the takeaway with that?
Basically, it's things that your doctor's not going to tell you. You have doctors that when you have a heart problem, you go see a cardiologist. When you have a foot problem, you go see a podiatrist. When you have a blood problem, you go see a hematologist. When you have female problems, you go see a gynecologist.
Right.
Your doctor, even your primary doctor, they're not going to tell you about something like blood clots because it's not, one, their specialty, and 2, it's not something that's known and talked about.
Okay.
So you at home having fun with your children playing, you end up tripping over something, sprain your ankle. You go to the doctor. You want to make sure it's not broken. That's all we're prone to do. Let's make sure it's not broken. Okay.
Right.
They tell you it's not broken, but you knew it wasn't broken because you walked in the hospital on it. So it wasn't broken. But what people don't know is something like a sprain, can put you on your deathbed because cause clots, you know, and your doctor's not going to tell you to look out for that or beware of that. Why? Because it's your primary doctor, and they're not going to say, oh, you know, it's not broken, you're okay. They're going to send you home, you know. But you hurt your wrists, or people with carpal tunnel. You go in, you get the carpal tunnel surgery. You go home, letting it heal, thinking, oh, it's nothing. You want to get back to your life. But what they don't tell you is that carpal tunnel surgery, you can end up with a blood clot. You know, and people don't know this. That's why it's called the silent killer for a reason. You will never know you have a blood clot until sometimes it's too late. But I thank God that I had a warning sign. That pain, that excruciating pain, that's your warning sign. When you start getting bruises, when you start getting bruises out of nowhere, it ain't because, oh, I was out clubbing all night and I fell, I had one too many drinks. No, that's a sign that something is going on in your body. Get that checked out. Bruising doesn't just happen out of nowhere for nothing, you know. And even if you do take a fall and you end up with a bruise, get it checked out, because that could still be the early warning signs of a blood clot. And people will chalk it up to, oh, well, I fell off the bed. Oh, I tripped over the skates. Oh, I tripped over my child's skateboard. It's a bruise. It's okay. That is how blood clots start. And they start in the legs as DVTs, and they move up to your lungs. And that's how you end up with pulmonary embolisms. And that is what can kill you. Yeah.
Get them bruises checked out, y'all. Get them bruises checked out. If you don't understand nothing else, be an advocate for yourself. No one is going to take care of you like you. So be an advocate for yourself. This second book, the number 2, Too Many Blessings. Talk about it. What we doing?
Too Many Blessings was a book I did for my little sister. And she, you know, expressed that how at her baby shower, she wanted books for her children. Okay. She was having twins. And I knew, you know, everybody was going to go to the store, buy the first Dr. Seuss book they see, or buy some book they see on the shelf. Like, it happens. This is what you do. You're running late, right. life in. You got to go get this book. And I just told myself, I don't want to do that. You know, I want to be able to give my godchildren, these are my god babies, I want to be able to give them something from their TT that's from the heart.
Right.
And I didn't know at the time I was going to write them a whole book. I thought it was just going to be like a little note, little message.
A little something, right?
Something, yes. But it turned into an entire book.
Okay.
And what people don't know is I never once said in my life, oh, I can't wait till I grow up to be an author. I want to be an author. And those words never came out of my mouth.
Okay.
How did I become an author? Was because I was fighting to survive. And when I say that, I mean, I'm literally fighting demons, depression, anxiety, as thoughts. Though I don't know how much we could say here on this platform, but those thoughts of not wanting to be here anymore, sadness, loneliness. When I was feeling that, I just started writing. That took me away from the pain that I was feeling. And that became, oh, you done found your gift. You know, because I never thought I would ever be a writer, be, you know, an author.
Right.
So, with dealing with anxiety, depression, negativity thoughts, sadness, loneliness, the only thing I knew how to do was sit down and start writing. And I just started writing. And most of my writings would start with Dear God. And it would just go from there. Just write. And once I realized you have a story to tell. Tell your story. Tell your
Right.
story, girl. You know, I realized, okay, I'm gonna take these write-ins and I'm gonna put them together, and I'm gonna do it, even if I don't become, you know, J.K. Rowling and all the other great artists out there. If somebody can just come to me and say,
Oh, wait a minute, y'all. It seemed like we having a little technical difficulty. I'm not for sure what happened just yet. Give me a second. Let's get her back on. We're gonna get her back on. Hold on 1 second, y'all. We're gonna get her back on and see if we can get, there she go. Technology, y'all. Technology. Man, look, but we're gonna pivot and we're gonna keep it pushing. But that's what prompted you to um write that book, is what you were saying.
yeah. So when I thought about I could help somebody by going what I've gone through, because at the end of the day, nobody really knows what happens or why things happen or what you can do until you're in a situation.
Okay.
And then somebody else is in that situation and they want to know what they can do and how they can go about it and how they cope with it. So was like, I'm just going to turn this into a self-help guide, a book to just help somebody else.
So let me tell you about this book. Okay. First and foremost, I do have both, right? And actually, The Silent Threat, I bought two, a copy for myself and a copy for my daughter. Too Many Blessings, I bought two, one for myself and one for my autistic grandson.
Mm-hmm.
He's 5. He was asked by one of his therapists to bring in one of his favorite books to his ABA therapy session to read.
Okay.
This is the book he took in with him.
Oh, wow.
When I saw that, I was like, he took what book? And he took a picture with the book and he said, Nene, it's my book. And I read it to my doctor. And he read the book from cover to cover. Your book.
Wow.
So your book is changing lives of the little people from coast to coast. So I want to thank you for that, right? You had some so anybody, first of all, that want this book, you can go find both of these books on Amazon.
Right.
Correct?
And Barnes and Noble, yes.
Oh, look at that. We on Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
Yes.
Come on now, come through with it. And so I just
You
wanted
can
to
order from you directly.
Yeah, right. So, I just wanted to share some of your highlighting moments that,
Yes.
you was part of one of the biggest book festivals.
Yes.
The Los Angeles Times Festival of Books that was it at USC?
It was at USC. Yes,
It was the one at USC, and it was freaking amazing. And one of the biggest highlights was Miss Haddish took a copy of your book, y'all.
Glory.
Yes. Can we say elevation and growth?
Can we just snap it up for Miss Haddish? Yes.
Yes. Yes. I love it. I love it.
I tell you, I didn't even know she was there that day because I was on another side of the campus doing an interview. So I was talking about my books. The publishing company I'm with, they were, had interviews lined up. So I'm talking about my book, telling people my story. And somebody comes to me and tells me that this person wants to see you. Nobody was there but me that day. My daughter came the first day. She didn't come with me the second day.
Okay.
So I was like, who want to see? Who is it?
Right.
And they tell me what tent to go to, because everything was set up in different tents, booths, as they say. And when I got there and saw it was her, I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? And I mean, and her words, and I don't know what society thinks of Tiffany Haddish, but baby, she speaks life into you.
Yeah, she does.
Like I have never heard of before. And I know she's a comedian and stuff, but when she speaks to you, she speaks speaks to you.
Life
And
changing.
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And we got to talking and laughing. And, I autographed my book and gave it to her. And she gave me one for my
Oh,
daughter.
look at you. Autographing for celebrities. Okay, Miss Celebrity. I'm glad I got your autograph before you became too big. I'm just saying. Don't forget the little people. But you know what? I want to bring you back to part of the reason for this smile and this laugh, right? We're gonna talk about your village.
Yes.
Well, part of your village while you was in your hospital stands.
Mm.
You felt these, these connections. You felt people with you, but you didn't see nobody, right? That's because you had a village praying for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that village has, well, part of that village, because I'm not going to say this is your whole village, but part of that village has something to do with that blanket that's sitting next to you.
Can we talk about it? Can we talk
Tell
about
me, tell me about it. Explain to me what this is sitting next to you, and this village that you had that was falling on their face, and you didn't even know it.
When I tell you family is more than blood. Sometimes you gotta go through that bloodline to find your family.
Amen.
You know?
Yeah.
God, my sorors, my sister. Oh my gosh, this sisterhood. Let me see. Let me just start off by saying, I didn't know what I was doing when I signed up for this. I just thought I was helping my daughter. I wanted something for her, but them ladies, and I know, I love how you said, like, my prayer words I didn't see. This is how I knew I was where I'm supposed to be. Okay. Because in the hospital, in the midst of my days and my darkest times, crying in pain, ready to just end it all, just not like, why, Lord, why me? I looked up and seen my sisters come through the door. And they don't even live in California. Let's start there. They don't even live in California. Okay.
Okay.
So for them to take a trip to come see little old me, I knew then that not only was my life worth something, but I was of value to somebody. And for them to show me that love and that appreciation, and to have my sister, my soror Keisha, stand over me and just pray for me in my darkest moment, I knew then, like, Lord, you taking me. You're taking me through this process for reasons.
So who is this sisterhood? What is this? For those that don't know what a Greek alphabet is, who is this sisterhood you speak of?
Lambda Kappa Omega Sorority Incorporated.
Tell me about them. Tell me about them ladies.
Yes. It's life changing. Definitely life changing. I love my sisterhood. I love my sorority. I love these women. I love that they're more than just paraphernalia. They're more than just, Greek letters. They're more than just pictures and videos. I love the fact that late in the midnight hour, God's going to turn it around and one of them is going to ring my phone and
Amen.
say, what you doing? I was thinking about you. How are you? I love these women. And I mean that wholeheartedly, and they are literally part of my saving grace, you know.
And you mean that because, ma'am, you in the midst of what you got going on, we can always pain and whatnot.
Yes.
You're gonna always be in the community.
Oh, of course.
You in the community. One of these pictures is with the youth, feeding back into the youth,
Mm-hmm.
right? Another one of the pictures, you out. What you doing down there? What you doing?
Girl, we was at a West Coast kickball game, okay, and you know, kickball, girl, kickball.
Was you kickballing?
I wasn't kickballing.
Oh, I was about to say. Was you out there kickballing too? Okay.
I wasn't kickballing, but it was a fun. It was a game for the two organizations, and I mean it was fun. It was kids involved, youth involved. It was just a lot of fun, and that's one of the things I love about my sorority is the community work, the just getting out in the community, seeing different people from different parts of life, people you never would have encountered, because you're not from that side of town, or you're not from that part of life, or you don't do those type of things that they do. So these are people you would have never encountered, but at the same time, they're all made in God's creation.
So you are in California.
I'm in California, yes.
So if someone wanted to connect with you and your chapter, how can they do that?
They can hit us up on our website at data2577@gmail.com. That's our email address. Or they can hit us up on 7-letters.org, which is our Lambda Kappa Omega Sorority Incorporated website.
Okay.
They can go on there and see all the different chapters throughout the United States. You guys, we growing. When I say growing and glowing,
I like that. Growing and glowing. Okay.
Growing and glowing is what we doing. Yes.
Okay. I love it.
So we have chapters all over the United States. You can go to our website, 7-letters.org. Check us out, find a chapter close to you, get involved with the women, get involved with the community, talk to some ladies. If you want to know more about it, our youth organization, our youth sorority, youth auxiliary is thriving and growing as well. We take girls ages 7 to 17. So it's amazing. It's amazing. It's life-changing. It's educational, and it's helpful. I love it.
And they was that praying village for you in your time of darkness.
Yes.
So I love it. So we're going to get ready to wrap it up here in just a moment because I need you to go rest. I need you to go elevate, like for real, for real.
I'm going to try.
If I have two questions. Question one, if they heard nothing else that you said today, what are the two things that you want somebody to take away from your experience and what you're going through in your current testimony?
Two things. Gosh, I got to narrow them down to two. The first ones would be to find a relationship with God. And I say God because that's who I believe in. But whoever you choose to believe in, find a relationship. Have that relationship. Build that foundation, that relationship. And two, I would say learn the difference between passion and purpose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question. What does it mean to you to be beautifully flawed?
Just authentic inside and out. Be your most authentic self, but love yourself. love yourself. Looks fade, money goes away, situations happen to where you don't have the means you used to have. People walk out of your life. But when you love you unconditionally, internally, that's that you'll get through anything.
Okay.
And that's beautifully flawed.
I love it. Well, as the screen says, Miss Ricketts, I'm gonna call her California Love because that's what I do, right? I want to thank you very much for taking the time out of your healing day to speak with us and educate us on the silent killer, right? Because even I didn't know all of that. I did not. Um, and I have questions now for my doctor and questions I need my daughter to go talk to her doctor about because mysterious bruises show up and we don't know where they come from. So we definitely need to look into that. So I definitely want to thank you for sharing, your transparent story with us, because your testimony is the answer to somebody's prayer. So I want to say, Jesus. I want to say thank you for that. Let us know how we can help you continue to heal in this journey. We will definitely do so. For everyone out there under the sound of our voice, find you a relationship with God. Find you a spiritual relationship with
Yeah.
whomever it may be, because you cannot go through this thing called life by yourself. Find you a village, find you a circle that will pray for you when you cannot pray for yourself and do not have the strength to pray for yourself. Remember, life is going to be life and life is not going to stop. Just like both of our situations right now, they look completely different. Y'all know this is not what we normally have. In life, you have to do what I call the 3 Ps. You have to be able to pause. Stop when you need to. You need to pivot, make adjustments. Don't stop completely, but pause. Make the necessary adjustments and push when you are ready to push on your terms. Stop pushing for everybody else. Stop pushing for social media clout. Push for yourself. Get your mental and your physical in check. I want to be able to talk with you. I don't want to just have to talk about you.
Amen.
Until next time, everybody, know that we love you. If we don't love you, God loves you, and there's not nothing you can do about it. Thank you for tuning in to What's in Your Cup Conversations, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.